VRL F1. Alex joined just in time.
Hello everyone, thank you Jackson for joining us. Welcome everyone aboard. It's round 1 of VRL Season 6 here in Bahrain. Got a couple of drivers still waiting on to join the lobby. I believe we might be getting them during qualifying as we are already late to start. Nevertheless, welcome everyone. Season 6 of VRL BDG Gill. The defending champion. He was absolutely dominant last season.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone does. This is the first chance to really see how everyone's done. Maybe we see some drivers improve based on last season. Maybe drivers putting a bit more time and effort into this season. Perhaps a couple new drivers. I'll have to wait and see. But it should be a competitive grid as always, and it should be good fun watching these guys race. We did at the end of last season was, well, quite the end with some controversy, and of course we had that very fun final race where a few of the big hitters missed it, and it definitely didn't disappoint in that race either.
No, of course, remember it was a battle all the way up to the finish line.
Yeah.
It was the Haas who came out on top. And I expect no different today in Bahrain. Bahrain returning to the VRL calendar for the first time in a couple of seasons. We haven't run it in certainly the last 2. It's a track that opens itself up to a lot of overtaking, Jackson.
Yeah, it's a track that can very much go one of two ways. You can either get crazy races with lots of battling and overtaking, sort of like what VRL F2 had yesterday, or we could have one of those sort of very much a slipstream train races, where everyone just sort of follows the car in front, saving their fuel, saving their ERS, and waiting for the dying couple of laps of the race to actually go for an overtake. Hopefully it's the first of the 2. It's also very interesting on strategy, which hopefully could spice things up a bit today. But yeah, I'm sure this race will not disappoint us at all.
Of course, we certainly saw yesterday a big variation of strategies in the F2 race. Obviously, to note, we did have problems with the commentator logging in, so that's been recorded. That is on its way, so make sure you stay tuned for the F2 race when it does end up getting uploaded. But yeah, a difference in strategies can cause quite a shake-up in the field. 2-stop, 1-stop, what do you go for? What tyres do you use on a 2-stop? If it's a 1-stop, I expect medium to hard. But one thing I think we should note for this race is it's the first time in VRL. This is obviously the new no assists tier 1, so all drives today running no assists. We'll see how that might play an effect over the course of qualifying the race.
We could perhaps see a couple of drivers that are used to using assists that have turned off assists. They probably only were using Racing Line before at the maximum, because a lot of these guys are the best of the best out there. But maybe a couple of these guys who have turned off that final assist purely for VRL F1 and sort of pushing themselves that little bit more. So we could see maybe they either struggle, but maybe they could thrive. Maybe it's sort of the push they needed, and perhaps they will make a jump up the order. Perhaps we'll see some drivers dropping down the order. That's the mystery we have when switching to a no assist league. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what these guys do now. A lot of drivers.
Of course, you've got to say there's some form of an advantage for those like Benjamin, those like Gill, of course. But I don't think we need to talk about advantages for Gill.
Yeah.
But someone like Benjamin is one name that comes to the front of my head. I think Tim Wenting as well, 2 drivers who ran no assists beforehand. This could play into their favour quite a lot. I know Ben, I know Tim, I've worked very close with them, at least in the last 2 weeks since we've been announced at Mercedes together. As I'm in the lower tier, we've been helping them along a bit. We know that they're quite confident. Ben's come out and said, yeah, he wants to have a run at the championship this year. Tim as well has said the same thing. Hopefully he can get a couple of wins. But further, they most importantly want to challenge for the Constructors' Championship, and that would be, they are aiming for Mercedes' first Constructors' Championship in their VRL F1 history.
It's going to be very interesting to see drivers, as you said, Mercedes as a team looking to aim for the top spot. But that's the thing, we don't really know which team's going to come out on top. Drivers that we'd usually see perhaps in the midfield might be pushing a bit harder this season, perhaps putting in that extra hour of practice or something like that just gives them the edge, and as always it's going to be close. We can guarantee that at the absolute minimum, because even with Gill's domination last season, it wasn't the domination you see in real life F1. Gill was, I mean, races that come to mind to me are Monza, when he was sitting sort of P8 for the first stint, I think it was, and then did the alternative strategy and flew up the order in the second stint. When you look at the results, it looked like he dominated it, but to say that you run an 8 for most of the race, it would surprise a lot of people.
Of course, and let's not forget Gill in the running for F1 Esports next season, so
yeah,
he could be taking a further step up. I believe he was PSGL F1 champion not long ago at all, so he's certainly got an impressive CV, I'll tell you that much, and he's looking to become the first ever back-to-back world champion in VRL history. You've got to say, Jackson, he's the #1 pick for the title this season.
Yeah, you can't bet against him, really. He's the reigning champion. He's got so many race wins under his belt, and it's not just in VR. It's everywhere. He seems to be, wherever he goes, he seems to be winning. And when you're driving like that, you can't exactly disagree with them being a favourite, as we've already seen a crash there, and that is quite a simple place to crash. Let's see if we can just get a look here. That, I believe, was Ave Racing, who has gone off. On the left there, looks like they've hit the barriers. We've seen a lot of real Lewis Hamilton did that back in 2008, I believe. Just losing it on the exit curb, and
yeah, that curb can spit you out. The drivers tend to use more of a soft suspension setup around a lap here, which means curbs do affect the car a little bit more, especially with that bumpy curb on the outside of turn number 6 or 7, I believe that is. So. Yeah, we saw Kimi in the Williams do that yesterday in F2, and the Vest has done the same thing today. Currently it's VRT Valken, only driver on the medium tyre, does a 26.6. Luke then in the AlphaTauri goes up to 25.4. Expect pole to be about a second to 8/10 quicker than that.
Yeah, low 24s is definitely where we expect to see these guys. It's going to be interesting to see how low they actually do get. That is the real question, because these guys are the best of the best, and we're waiting to see some of the big hitters still settle up. So it'll also be interesting to see what tyres they choose to qualify on. I'm assuming most of these guys will push on the softs, because the soft hard is definitely a possible strategy. However, there is, of course, maybe one or two that have the confidence to qualify top 10 on the mediums, and perhaps will try and give that a go. And it'll be interesting to see where everything plays out, especially if we have any sort of safety car or even a VSC. Could mix up strategies massively, because Bahrain's one of those tracks where it's impossible to call before the race which strategy will be the winner.
VRT Law in the Red Bull, going fast as a 25.2. Not a bad lap in the early stages of this qualifying, however, do expect the times to fall. BDG Gill must have made a mistake. On his lap. He is at 25.9. Certainly more time in that. Nick Pancras 26.3. Currently it's Law on pole. RGK Zach only 6. He must have made a mistake. Got Ben also invalidated his lap. Track limits can catch you out here at Bahrain. It's not necessarily one of the hardest tracks in terms of track limits, but if you make a mistake, it does certainly punish you.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where it has these curbs around it that tend to be high enough for the drivers to be sort of not wanting to go over them. But there's one or two corners, especially on exits or a couple other corners around here, where the drivers will just want to push to the absolute limit, and that's when you see them sometimes push over the limit. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of that today. Perhaps one or two penalties in the race. It'll be interesting. I imagine the top guys here will probably avoid penalties, maybe get one or two warnings across the race, but they'll probably avoid getting the penalties. But we might see someone in the midfield where they're battling hard, getting one or two penalties, which it's simple to do when you're battling someone else. You're focusing on the other car, and you're not really focusing on the white line, unlike what you're doing in qualifying. As Gill comes into the pits now, sitting P3 at the moment, as you said, must have made a mistake on that lap. And so far, running order with Law, Luke and Gill up in the top 3 positions. A lot of big hitters yet to set lap times though.
Talking about big hitters, we've got Benjamin Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2. Let's see if he's able to hook up the final sector and go top of the timesheets. One-time race winner in VRL, Benjamin, switching to the Mercedes team this season. And he does go into pole 24/7.
That is a
strong lap time there from Benjamin.
Yeah, it's very much setting down the marker there for the other drivers to catch up to. it's going to be interesting to see if they can. That's going to be a big part of today. It's a lot of these drivers in the first runs just trying to set a lap. You haven't got anything in particular to aim for. You'll have some sort of idea of the numbers you want to hit, but you won't be exactly sure. But now that we're seeing lap times like that being set, these guys are very much going to know what their aim is, better idea of track conditions, and they'll very much be targeting laps in the 24s easily, they'd hope, especially the front runners. Maybe we'll see some of the midfield throughout the 25s. But I think it's safe to say, I think most of the field would be in the 25s or 24s. 26 probably, you'd assume they've made some sort of mistake there, because a bit off the pace. Drivers at this level, you'd imagine they're all fairly close to each other. But with only 7 drivers setting laps,
if everything goes right, we'll certainly be well in with the 25s. I'd be almost concerned if we had anyone on the 26 on a full-blown lap, but mistakes are easy to make around here. It's so easy just snatching the side tyre into turn 9, where you just seen Livid Racing Nico go through in the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo last season, very, very disappointing season for their standards. They're looking to bounce back this season. Brought in Nico. Only one driver racing for them today. But I'm sure they'll hope that he can pick up some points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Alfa Romeo across one car, that's a bit of a weakness in terms of strategy, because they can't bounce out across both cars. But that's actually got to make the most of what you have, and just go with your instinct, really. Try and use all the knowledge. So they go P2 there with a solid lap, 25.118. So that is a solid lap there from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, it's a good lap for Nico. I'm sure he'll be quite satisfied with that. A couple of tenths off Benjamin, but I'd have said Benjamin looking very strong at the moment. And we've also got Drakatos in that Haas. Stayed at the Haas last season. One of the only drivers actually to maintain his team, alongside his teammate Nick Mania, who also stayed at Haas. Haas could be a dark horse this season. They certainly seemed to improve at the end of last season. They didn't get it right at the start of Season 5, but it all came good, especially at the end of Season 5 with a win in Abu Dhabi. They're going to hope that they can carry that momentum forward into Season 6 and maybe even mount an outsider's chance for the Constructors' Championship, Jackson.
Yeah, they really did come alive in the final few races of last season, just getting podiums, getting that one, of course, as you mentioned, and just really sort of showing themselves as what is going to be a team that's going to be hard to beat. Big thing is going to be how each driver's teammates do, because we see drivers like Gil, Drakatos, Benjamin, and it's got single drivers. It's fantastic with the Drivers' Championship, but the Team's Championship, it's going to be so interesting to see which teams come out on top, because for that, of course, you need 2 great drivers, which Mercedes, for example, are a team that have 2 drivers that we know can perform near the front. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. With everyone setting good laps at the moment. 9 drivers setting a lap of the 17, so we've got a long way to go before we get a good idea of where everyone's going to be.
Just watching Gil on his lap. He's struggling. He's a couple of tenths down in Sector 1, another 3 tenths down in Sector 2 to Benjamin, so Gil not showing that blistering pace we're used to as Tim Wentic goes up into 4th. Let's see what this lap's good enough for Gil. It's good enough for 5th and 5th only. We do know that Gil has switched over to the wheel from paddle last season, so he's easing into it. So expect his pace to get better as the races go on. But I have to be honest, he's not showing that absolutely blistering pace we're so used to seeing here at VRL.
Well, I must say, to be fair, he is doing a great job, as he has indeed just switched to a wheel, and that is a fantastic thing to be able to be anywhere near the pace. Countless times I've seen drivers who are used to pad and going over to wheel, and they usually drop about a second a lap, which to be fair we could say Gil is dropping here, but the fact that he's perhaps just getting used to his wheel still, obviously would have put in a lot of practice with it, but the fact that he is still, let's say he's in an unfamiliar environment and he's still P6 at the moment, it's a demonstration of just how good he is.
Yeah, you mentioned that drivers switch to the wheel and all of a sudden lose the pace. I've got a great example. When I used to race in GPRL, current F1 esports driver Casper Janssen drives for Renault. He switched to the wheel Canada, I believe it was, in season 2 of GPRL, and I lapped him 3 times. Wow. So that's the difference some drivers can experience. Obviously, he's since picked up the pace, given he's a Team Vitality Renault esports driver. But nevertheless, it's the differential that you see between people get so comfortable with what they're used to, and then having to switch. It is a fair difference. Just following Valken on his lap at the moment in the McLaren, currently only 11th. Probably not a full pelt lap from him. He's purple in sector 1. Or that might have been a glitch in the game. He wasn't purple in sector 1, I have to say. He's coming across the line now. His current fast lap is on the mediums. He's out on the soft now, and he goes up into P4. Strong lap there from Valken. And I do have to say that for a second season in a row, we are welcoming back the telemetry analysis system. Big help for us. We can see everything you'd ever like to see in a race, and certainly gives us in the commentary booth a really good insight into what's going on. We got Benjamin out on a lap at the moment. He's improved on his sector 1 actually, and let's see if he's able to improve on that lap and absolutely consolidate pole. Currently 4/10 clear at the moment.
Yeah, it's strange though, because just getting to 24s, I'm only one driver in the 24s, and I mean I think it's fair to say we know that these guys are going to be getting into some of the mid to low 24s. It's weird seeing a lot of drivers perhaps having some issues on their early laps.
Yeah, Ben did unfortunately invalidate. He's gone round at the final corner as well. He invalidated on the entrance, but I don't think he's going to be too concerned about that, because he'll get another run. He's very clear at the moment. A lot of drivers saving their runs right until the end. There's a Ferrari of Wolfix, Nick Mania, KJ Elting, both Williams yet to set a lap, and Harry B also yet to set a lap. So we could see the times really come crashing in at the end. But yeah, a big thank you to IGK and TAS for getting us on board with the system yet again. It was fantastic to use it last season, and looking forward to using it every race this season as well. Benjamin currently on pole. I have to say, I can share some insider knowledge that it is a very one lap pace setup for Benjamin. I can say that, as the Ferrari does go onto pole position. It's very much tailed towards one lap pace. I'm not saying he's going to drop off in the race by any means, but it's a very fast setup to go around the course of one lap, so don't be concerned at the gap we're seeing at the moment, because we could see other drivers purely focusing on race pace and tyre longevity.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see that. Both Williams drivers still yet to set a lap time. Both in the pit lane still, actually, so
they're going to have to get out soon.
Issue there. It's getting very late here, then perhaps they are having some sort of issues. As Nick Mania isn't an out lap now, so they will be able to get a lap in as long as they don't invalidate. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup we have at the moment. We've of course Gill now down in P8, which is obviously not where they would want to be. Renault as a team P8 and P10, which I'm sure is not where they would want to be, especially with a driver like Gill within the team. You'd expect to be right up at the front.
And you know what, mate?
Yeah,
I do want to confirm for everyone on the chat that is not the real Yano Watme. I'm yet to find out who it is, but please don't be fooled.
Maybe Yano Watme's got a twin brother or something.
Maybe I'd be a bit concerned if the reigning F1 esports champion came in and was only 10th.
Yeah.
But we do have the bottom three out on outlaps now. I can announce, so they have left it until late.
They are very much putting it all on the line here, just one snap of oversteer away from not setting a lap, so that could be the end of it for them.
Yeah, I've just caught Benjamin helping Tim along on his lap, a slipstream between turn 3 and turn 4. Tim currently only 6th, he's not able to match his teammate at the moment. I'm sure the Mercedes team principal Andrea Vagani would very much so like having both their drivers at the front.
Well, Tim is a driver that we know has good pace, and should be able to at least get a lot close to the front there. I'll have to wait and see how this lap
sector
is
one time. 1.5 tenths or so down on Ben through the first sector. Let's see what he's able to pull out through the middle sector. Tim not quite looking as comfortable on the edge of that Mercedes as maybe Ben is. He's another 2 tenths down on Benjamin in the first sector. However, if he can hook up this final sector, he can still put it on the first row of the grid, as is Ben's advantage. Let's see what he's able to do through the final corner. Here goes Tim Wenting. Doesn't have a pole position, doesn't have a win in VRL. He said he's looking to change that this season in VRL. Here goes his final lap across the line. It is up into second, then make it a Mercedes 1-2. Something
Great
we're
job,
accustomed to see in real life. Surprisingly, not here in VRL, but Mercedes certainly putting their best foot forward at the moment. Let's see what the chasing pack can do. We've got Nico starting his lap, as is VRT Law. VRT Velkin is on his lap. His current Sector 1 will wait for the time to come through. It's a 27.4, still about a tenth down. No one seems able to match the supreme pace of VRT Benjamin as IGK Zach goes up into second place in the AlphaTauri. Good lap from him, splitting the Mercedes.
Cutting that gap down a lot there, and really putting the pressure on Benjamin. Of course, Zach setting that up already means that they won't be able to improve. Well, but yeah, they won't be able to improve. Haven't got the tyres left in to send another lap that quick. That is Drakatos in P6, setting their finishing the session there. Yeah, I imagine that they will drop a few positions just as people set lap times.
Luke is improving on his lap. He's up. Let's see what he's able to do. VRT Valken as well. Harry B goes on to pole right at the end.
What
a 24.6. I didn't see that coming at all. No purple set. Yeah, only purple in the final sector. Let's see what Ben's able to do. There's Tim, his teammate, coming to the rescue. Ben, purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2, looking for his first pole position in VRL at the Season 6 opener. He keeps it well within track limits at the final corner. All he's got to do now is absolutely floor it. Look to the line. Kyle to go second. It's a 1-2 for Williams. VRT Benjamin goes on to pole of 24.4. It's pole position for Mercedes, pole position for Benjamin. What a lap right at the end there for Ben.
Oh, well, he pulled that one right out of the bag there, and of course helped with his teammate Tim. But you've got to hand it to Williams there. P2 and P3, not a bad effort there from a team that were P16 and 17 just a minute ago. So yeah, they have really pulled that one out of the bag. But meanwhile, BDG Gill down 13. In P13, and his teammate Otmir, I'm just gonna call it Otmir.
Imposter.
P14 and 13 for the Renault team. Their team principal will not be happy with that.
They had a poor start to last season.
Well, yeah.
And it seems like they're having a poor start to this season, but... What a lap from Ben. Mercedes back on pole for the first time in a while.
That was an entertaining session there. And Benjamin...
It all blew up at the end. I would love to know what the Williams were doing, but the strategy of just waiting, saving a couple of sets of tyres to be fair, so that could suggest they're going aggressive in the race. But Tim, half a second off his teammate, down in 9th, so that's poor, that is, from Tim. He'd be expecting more. But Harry on his debut in VRL, bringing it to Benjamin. Kyle Tink as well, stepping in as a reserve for Williams, certainly pulling his weight. Valken as well, among the drivers, the new drivers to VRL, taking the top. VRT Law, Nolan Lambert, Nico, who was in second, he dropped all the way to 10th. That just proves how much the track evolved at the end.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see that. Lots of drivers there that you'd say are out of position. It'll be interesting to see if they can recover with the alternative strategy. I imagine a lot of drivers will be going for that. So I'll be curious to see if they manage to pull that one off as we get ready here for the race, or for the formation lap. Very interesting to see which tyres everyone has selected. Of course, those
I was going to say, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, so much strategy differentiation here around 29 laps to navigate of the Bahrain circuit.
Yeah, it's going to be... I think it's fair to say the medium-hard strategy is the more comfortable strategy, which a lot of drivers outside the top 10 will definitely want to do. Whereas the soft-hard is definitely a possible strategy, not too slow. But it'll be interesting to see if the drivers that are doing that strategy have the ability to maintain those tyres. And if Benjamin was on as much as a quality setup as he was, as you suggest there, perhaps those tyres are going to struggle a bit more than others, and we could see Benjamin dropping down the order in the second stint and perhaps going for a two-stop strategy. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. As Balliner has joined a bit too late.
He's just missed it. Yeah. Only just. Shame for Balliner.
Ooh, I've just noticed here, Gill on the hard compound tyre. Well, he's definitely mixed that one up there. Starting
We
outside the
saw
top 10,
we
going for a
saw
long
Hot Lap
stint.
mode in the chat
And a
saying
nice
he's got a
bump.
feeling Gill's going for the OP reverse strategy.
Well, Gill doesn't want this tyre to be in perfect condition, clearly, as he is taking a spin and is now going through grass and gravel. So, interesting way to get your tyres up to temperature there. But yeah, perhaps struggling with the throttle pedal there, which of course is one of the things you have to get used to when moving over to a wheel. But I mean, to still outqualify your teammate after switching your steering device, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic result there for Gill. And I mean, if anything, it's going to make the championship a little better for us as commentators,
A
because
little bit more
if
entertaining.
Gill struggles for points in the first few races of the season, whilst their rivals are scoring big points, we could see a repeat of last season, where we saw
We got
Donny and Pluchenbold fighting out early in the season, and then out of nowhere, Gill won, I think, was it, what, 5 or 6 races in a row?
5 races on the trot, a VRL
Five
record he
races.
set.
Yeah. Outstanding there. Purely outstanding.
And it wouldn't be sick. It would have been sixth if it wasn't for just that 1/10 at Brazil. But nevertheless, here we are at Bahrain, 5.412 kilometer circuit. It's 490 meters from pole to turn one. That's 490 meters. Benjamin has got to navigate in the lead. We saw Jamil in F2 in a Mercedes on pole yesterday, dropped to third off the start. So, hoping for Benjamin's sake, he's able to have a bit better luck than that. 3 DRS zones, 15 corners here, and the average pit stop loss is 25 seconds. A longer pit lane than at some other circuits, which may lend itself to less stops, but we do know how important fresh tyres are here. Everyone in the top 10 starting on the soft, then everyone outside the top 10 on the medium, other than championship defending BDG Gill in 13th and Avesta Racing down in 17th in the Red Bull. We're all ready to go then for Season 6 of VRL. It's been a long break, but I'm more than happy to be back. We've got 17 drivers on the grid, and it's all eyes on the 5 red lights. It's 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go for VRL Season 6. It's a good start from Ben. He chops off Harry. He seems to be losing position to his Williams teammate, Carlton. He's going to have a look round the outside. Ben has got the start. Entry up into second, Harry third, Valken up into fourth. The 2 AlphaTauris getting away well. 5th and 6th for them. Tim middle positions as everyone's keeping it clean down the straight. Gill's lost a couple of places. Both Renaults have had a poor start. 13th and 17th for them. That might be Nick Mania dropping back a little bit further down the field. Benjamin though leads us down the hill into the hairpin. Benjamin followed by Eltink, followed by Harry, followed by Valken, Zach, Luke, Tim Wentic, Law, Nolan Lambert, Andrew Katos completes the top 10 as I believe the Vesta's off exactly where he went off in qualifying.
Yep, that is a lot of bad luck there for Avesta, clearly struggling in the early stages, but Benjamin, as you say, he's got a great launch there and has managed to maintain the lead of the race. But with KJ Altink and Harry right behind him there, it's going to be tough to hold on to that position. The 2 Williams drivers already trying to push and prove that they are the guys that are going to be winning championships this season. Especially with Gill, who was actually fair maintaining position on lap 1, not a bad start considering they were on the hard compound tyres. But I think it's fair to say we're going to have to just watch and wait now to see what happens up front. Can Benjamin hold on?
This race is certainly going to come alive around about lap 7, 8, 9, where we're going to find out where the strategies are heading for the drivers. They're all going to have a clear plan, I should say, coming into this race. Tim Wentic quite close to the back of VRT Valken. Valken has a look down the inside of Zach into turn number 1. Expect a lot of moves into turn number 1. Talking about moves at turn number 1, Nolan Lambert in that racing point moving past the Red Bull of Law, who's dropping down out of the points. Only in 9th position now, and he's got to keep an eye behind him because we've got Olivia Racing Nico coming behind him. But further up the field, I believe we've got an issue with the timings as is classic on F1 2020. Benjamin does lead us down the hill on lap number 2. He's opened up a bit of a comfortable gap, I have to say, to Eltink. It'd be favourable for him if he's able to open up that gap to about a second. However, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that gap changes throughout the race. I personally think Elting's going to just stick behind and just stay behind, wait, and just watch Benjamin drive into the, well, not drive into the distance, but just drive away, holding that DRS, maintaining that P2. But you never know, Harry could throw a spanner in there. And always got a crash behind that is Drakatos, who has gone off the road there. He looks like he's kept it going. As now they'll lose a place to Gil, who goes past that as Nolan Lambert and Falcon battling it wheel to wheel through the final corner. A bit of wheel rubbing there, it appeared to be. As they make their way down the straight now. Nolan Lambert has got that position. Meanwhile, as Gil making a position up on Drakatos down the straight, will the reigning champion be able to get up into P12 here? Oh, nearly around there. It looked perhaps a bit of over-rotation. And that's not how Gil wanted to start off the day, as they make their way up towards turn 4. And Gil there does get the move this time.
Yeah,
do they though?
There.
No.
Gonna fight back.
Oh, spinning big crash behind. That is Nick Pancras
that is.
And Otmir there, who have gone flying off into the wall. And full safety car has been deployed.
Ooh.
Well,
I just saw a racing point spewing off to the left. Not sure if you caught what was going on with Valken. I was trying to find that on the stream. Down into 10th, he was battling for 5th, I think, a moment ago.
I caught them battling with Nolan. Maybe they had an issue with Drakatos, because both appeared to lose a couple of places as they came out down the hill. But this safety car has definitely helped out Nick Pranks a lot, because that damage is going to cost them a lot of time.
This is good for someone like Avesta Racing, because he effectively gets to close back up to the back of the field. Almost give him a second life in this race. So, lap number 3, we've got a safety car. I'd argue this is a little bit too early for any strategy differentiation here. Certainly way too early for the hards.
I think the only strategy differential we could see is perhaps someone going, as Benjamin is going to pit now. No, he isn't.
Oh, he's not.
But as he tricked Harry. Harry is pitting though, and he speeds into the pit lane. As behind though, lots of drivers pitting, and all but a contact there as Nico with damage to the end plate. And this Benjamin should have pitted, I think. The amount of cars pitting behind. I'm guessing they're all going to the mediums. I'm guessing to do one more pit stop in this race to another set of mediums. And I think
that does lock them into a 2-stop. That does lock them into a 2-stop. Benjamin can still 2-stop from here. Let's not forget. But he could open himself to a run on the softs at the end. Let's not forget Harry does have that 5-second time penalty. He will have to serve that next stop because there's no way he's taking their mediums to the end of the race.
Yeah.
So that might disadvantage him. That might drop him off the podium. I'm not sure about this, if I'm honest. A couple of drivers on the hards. Valken, Nick Mania, Otmir.
Yeah, although it locks some people into a 2-stop that have gone off the mediums, those that are on the hards know where they're making it to the end. It's safe to say they are they're gonna have to make another pit stop, probably to the medium tyre. But I think those that have gone to the medium, it's worked for them here. Other than if Harry hadn't got that speeding in the pit lane, I think this would have been a fantastic move by Harry, because yes, he's locked into a 2-stop now, but everyone now in front of him still has to make one more pit stop. And he's got 3-lap fresher tyres, which around a track like Bahrain is really going to help him out. So when everyone in front likely pits over to the hard tyres, perhaps if Harry can really stretch his tyres, could Harry go mediums to mediums for the rest of this race?
He certainly... it might be a little bit borderline. I think he'll be able to. But one thing that is going to swing in the favour of Benjamin, Elting and Luke is that Harry and the following drives behind him, they're all going to be battling for track position. But then they've got to navigate Avesta, Gil, Drakatos and Wolfix in the Ferrari. They're not going to just pull over to the side of the track for them. They're going to want that position because the best track position they can have, the best it is for their strategy. So I'm not actually entirely sure if it's going to be 100% plain sailing for Harry and the guys behind him, but certainly he might be able to keep it going and have a good run. The 5-second penalty does impede him slightly, but he could still have a good run at least the race winner on the road.
Well, I mean, as you say, they're going to have to pit again, so surely there will also that penalty then. But yeah, I think around here tyre wear is crucial. So everyone that's on the, I mean, I've witnessed Elting in a different league try to do the soft to the hard strategy and get a puncture with a lap to go, and cost them a possible win, at least a podium. So tyre wear around here is very on edge. So just even those 3 laps extra softer tyres, it could make the big difference. Even if they do go onto the hards for the second stint, that little bit of tyre is going to make a world of difference, I think. It's all going to come down to how quickly they can get past. I think Tim and the soft runners up ahead of there, I think they're going to try. I don't think that Harry's going to be able to get ahead of them before they pit. But if Harry can get up into P5 ahead of Wolfix, I think that could be a reasonable goal that could put them in with a chance to win.
What is important here, though, is that a couple of laps under safety car, almost nowhere to any of the tyres. For the likes of the soft runners, this could become a lot easier for them to stretch it into a one-stop, go onto the hards, which might cause a few issues for the likes of Harry, which is why I'm somewhat reserved in saying that I'd say it's a genius strategy from the Williams driver.
Yeah, by no means I think it's definitely going to be a guaranteed win. But I think from Harry's position, he was behind his teammate, who I think it's fair to say, as the safety car is in this lap, I think it's safe to say they were going to stay in formation there because they were focusing on Benjamin. He's put himself in a different position, still with a good chance of getting a possible podium here, at least a possible podium, I'm sure. I think from the position he was in, it was worth the risk.
What's important as well for Williams is that they've split the strategy. So either way they go now, Mercedes and Benjamin have the issue. It's almost like what Red Bull had last year with Alex Albon. Both drivers not quite being right there, so they can't play around with the strategy as much. Then again, Tim is in the wheel track. Oh, Gill's off. Gill's spun at the restart. Down in 14th, Gill's gone round. He's had no temperature in them hard tyres, and he's looped round. Back to the front, Benjamin leads the way. He's got the restart absolutely fine. Tim looks down the inside of VRT Luke, but Gill, what a shambolic start to his championship defence season.
Well, that is just not what Gill would. That's the complete opposite of what Gill would want. The only thing worse than that is if he'd spun and actually retired from the race. He is now purely relying on another safety car here when he needs to pit, because it's just not looking good. Meanwhile, Kai Elting is right on the back here of Benjamin. It's really on the limit here. Not quite close enough to go for the overtake, but it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But as the dirty air seems to kick in, and perhaps dropping back slightly from the front runners.
Tyre temperature as well is crucial. It's something quite easy to overheat in the hot conditions of Bahrain. Of course, we're in a desert. It's also quite technical middle sector, can be quite hard on the inside fronts. So do expect drivers to maybe back off a little bit. It looks like Celtic maybe he's made a mistake, because Luke in that AlphaTauri almost looks reborn. Does VRT Luke? Had a poor season 5, I think, by all means, but running up in a podium position today, he could be on for some really good points if things go his way.
Yeah, doing a great job. Another driver at the moment on this restart that's done a fantastic job is Wolfix, keeping up with the soft tyre runners. Whilst Dracotus is dropping down the order, and Harry's now going to get past into turn 1, it looks like. As onto the brakes they go. Will Harry get the move done? Yes, nice and easy. That could allow Zach to perhaps get a good run on Dracotus here as they head up towards turn 4. Or will Dracotus come back at Harry? Harry's feeling the need to go defensive. And Dracotus is going to try to go around the outside here, as that may have been Wolfix's wing that I've just seen on the ground. Then yes, Wolfix has lost their right end plate, and that is really going to hurt. It looks like they've had contact with Tim there, because Tim has also lost a bit of time to the front runners. And well, that's from what I said, just typical commentator's curse there. Just as I was commentating Wolfix just a few corners earlier, well, they've gone and broken their wing, and that is Harry. Really getting caught out there by the slow Wolfix, and has nearly steamed into the back of them. Luckily avoided any contact there, and has managed to keep their wing on their car. But this could hurt or help Harry. It depends how quickly you can get past the Ferrari. Law's
just really made a double move there into that left-hander. He's side by side now with Dracatos now through this long right-hander. Dracatos trying to hold it around the outside. He's not going to be able to make that move. Law up into 8th. Wolfix is struggling as he is past now. But Harry, IGK Zach is getting a move on. It's important to know IGK Zach racing in F3 next season. Asian F3. I believe, as long as you're F3 as well, so congratulations to him, I must say. Got a couple of wins in French F4 last season. Wolfix does pit for new tyres, as does Tim. So did Tim have damage, or is this scheduled? Can't see any damage on the telemetry system. Hard tyres for Tim, so he's going to the end. I thought what Mercedes might try and do is leave Tim out for a little while, hold up Harry, but clearly that's not in their concern, and I can only assume with Benjamin going this long, he is opting for the hard tyre to the end.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very interesting to see what Tim has done there, because you'd think, you could imagine, yeah, pitting lap 7 or 8 would be alright if it was without the safety car. But as that's a crash, and that is Nolan, I believe, who's gone around. Nolan, I believe, has had a spin there, and has now lost quite a few positions, and has now got Nick Prankras on the back of them.
I'm hearing it was contact between him and VRT Valken.
Ooh. Valken
So
really so far today.
Yeah, he hasn't lost, he's only lost a position, if he was battling with Valken, or maybe
like
two.
A half spin then.
Yeah.
But yeah, up front it's still very close here, and Harry is catching up to the lead group here. Back onto Tim, I think with that safety car, you could easily have... I think you could have taken those tyres to around about lap 10. Or at least lap 8 or 9. So
maybe tyre wasn't a concern, maybe he's looking for an undercut.
Well, I think we saw that the softer hard tyres last in F2 pitting around lap 6. And they made it to the end.
I mean, you did that strategy yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and I'm loving it whilst I was running in P3. Not as fun when all the quick guys caught up to the back of me.
Mate. And then I disconnected.
Yeah. Thanks to
thanks
to the P5.
No problem.
The tyres weren't that bad at the end, getting to, I'd say, high 60s, low 70s by the end of the race, which is obviously much slower, but not quite puncture territory. So it worked. So I think anyone pitting after lap 6 onto the hards is fine. However, those that have pitted, those that have done the hards from the safety car window, I think that is the wrong decision, because they're going to need to manage their tyres like no one has ever before. Because that is very early on. There's a bit of a lock up there from Benjamin, but you come to expect that into turn at this track. It's a tough old corner to get right. But Benjamin is starting to pull out a bit of a gap.
Of course. Benjamin, I have to say, does look extremely strong through the middle sector. That's where he pulls up most of his time, on Kyle Tink behind him. And to be fair to Kai, he is sat in the DRS quite happily. I can see he's got a lot of ERS to expend. Then again, as does Benjamin. Benjamin's got the most in the field, pretty much. So he's sat really comfortably at the moment, ready to deploy all that energy when he needs to. And you have to say, I think the Mercedes team principal will be licking his lips at the moment at the prospect of a win. Here we go, Benjamin in the pits. This time he's not going to fake. He gets it slowed down perfectly, as does Kai Eltix. So that means Harry is going to inherit the lead of the race. We do expect Benjamin onto the hard tyres now. Is it hard tyres? It is hard tyres for the Mercedes. No problems there in the pit stop, as is for the Alpha Tauri of VRT. Luke, and there's Kyle Eltix comes out on the hard tyres. So little strategy differentiation here. We're all going with the same goal in mind, a Vesta in the Red Bull also.
Tim's going to come out in P2 here, a net P2, with strategy, and making as now a net Mercedes 1-2, I believe. So that undercut there, which you suspected from Tim, has worked well. And it will be interesting to see if he can... Well, I'm sure now that's worked out perfectly there for Benjamin, because he's now got a bit of a buffer. Because even if he does start to have some struggles, Tim is there, just protecting him really, he's like a bodyguard.
Yeah, that's so important. I did say we could potentially be looking at the undercut, and that's exactly what's happened. The Mercedes drivers have played this really, really well. Now I think Benjamin's got to switch his attention to Harry at the front, and possibly Zach as well. And let's see what they do, because right now they're going to be quicker in this stage of the race. In a couple of laps, Ben will be quicker, but Ben and the Mercedes and Kai and Luke and etc. will be quicker, and then we're going to get Harry, Zach, Lord, Rakatos, Nico, Nolan, Nick Pancras, maybe Valken and the Renault, potentially on a fresh set of tyres, and all of a sudden they're quicker, and I think we're just going to have the whole field merged together in the last 5 or 6 laps, which is going to be so entertaining, Jackson.
Yeah, we are going to see one hell of a finish here, which, it's nothing new for us in commentating on VRL, as Nico does get past Rakatos here into turn 1. Can Rakatos fight back? Doesn't look like it at the moment. Let's see, can they get a run down the hill? Not quite. Nico with DRS as well, as Law perhaps seems to be struggling slightly here behind Zach, who doesn't seem to have the outright pace at the moment. Harry has the pace, to win this race, but that penalty is going to hurt him big time here, because it's looking like he may well come out behind Zach, which is just not what they need at all.
Yeah, of course, because he's taking another pit stop, he will be held for 5 seconds. So that's 5 seconds before the engineers can do anything on their car. At the 2.5 second pit stop, he's going to be sat in the box for 7.5 seconds. So Harry's going to struggle. He's got to really turn on the afterburners to get a good result from this race.
I think it's key now that Harry can get that gap up to Zach, because at the moment, Harry, when this lead group pit, he's going to come out in about P4 or P5 even. It's going to be tight there, so he really needs to try and pull out a gap here. As that is Kai Eltink getting past Tim Wentink down at the back straight there. Was there some sort of mistake there from Tim?
Just checking his sector times, it all looks normal. Tim was actually purple in the last sector, last lap, so maybe Kai's just barged his way through, but Tim, I'm sure he's got all the encouragement in the world to go and get after Kai. And again, Kai does have fresher tyres, let's bear that in mind. Only 2 laps, nevertheless, that does count.
Luke
not the
here
end of
in
the
a
world
great
for
position at the
Mercedes.
moment, just hanging on to these drivers arguably maybe a couple cents a lap quicker than him. And he's just hanging on to them at the moment. Very intelligent driving here. Just to hold on to these guys, knowing that they're quick, just focusing on keeping up with them. Perhaps using a bit more ERS than them, just focusing on... Because he probably knows his battle isn't with drivers like Benjamin, Eltink and Tim. He's just going to hang on here and try and use them to get himself ahead of the drivers he's racing.
I mean, with all due respect to Luke, he's a very, very fast driver. Just today, not maybe the outright pace to match the likes of Benjamin and Eltink and Harry. Nevertheless, though, as you said, smart driving, doesn't need to expend too much of the tyres, boosts into the DRS range, catches up with the guys ahead of him, and he's setting very, very competitive lap times, I do have to say. Last lap he was, well, 8 tenths quicker than Tim, so I assume Tim made a mistake, because Tim's last lap was also a second slower than Eltink, so he must have made a mistake, and that's allowed the Williams driver through.
Meanwhile, up at the front, the gap between Harry and Zach appears to have evened out a bit, and it's holding around 3 seconds, which is really bad for Harry here, because he's going to probably come out in about P4 out of this group of 4 cars, which of course is going to mean he's behind not only Benjamin, Eltink, Tim, Luke, he's also going to come out behind Zach, Law and Nico. So this is... It's going to be so interesting at the end here. Could Zach potentially win this race? I mean, he's out of the drivers on this alternative strategy. He is technically leading the group if you take into account the penalty, as Frakatos just got a 3 second time penalty, and so did Tim, which is crucial there for Tim, which means even if he does get ahead of these group of cars, he's still going to be behind on penalties, as Avesta and Wolfix are battling through the first few corners here. These two not having the race they would have wanted here, which is a shame to see. But they look like they're having a bit of fun here, having a good battle for 16th place.
Things can still certainly come to them.
Yeah.
A long race.
Actually closed a bit here on Harry, only very tiny margins. But this lead group here doing a very good job.
Just in terms of tyre wear, a little update, thanks to the telemetry analysis system provided to us for Season 6. Zach, slightly more tyre wear. He's running at 41% on the fronts and 47% on the rear. Meanwhile, Harry running at 38% on the front and 43% on the rear. So, Harry driving a conservative race, won't go to the end, but maybe he's trying to find some sort of a soft tyre stint at the end of this race.
Kratos into the pits now, which is roundabout where you'd expect them to pit. And they'll be going to the end on the hard compound tyres. Be interested to see if that strategy does work today.
We've got Otmir and Nick Pancras battling. Jackson's got a notification.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's crazy what we've seen so far. Sorry I haven't been speaking much about tyre wear. I've got small issues with mine, with my task system at the moment.
Do you have one set up?
I've got it. I've been given the link, and for the most part it's working, but there's a couple drivers that I can't see the tyre wear of.
I didn't know that. That comes as news to me. Yeah, yeah. We some drivers it hasn't synced with. Some
Hmm.
drivers it certainly has synced with. But yeah, it will be very interesting to see how the course of this race evolves. In terms of tyres, we said it would be an interesting strategy. I think it's interesting at the moment. It's going to get even more interesting when we get the top four or top five, I should say, on the soft tyres, or maybe fresh mediums in 4, 5, 6 laps time.
I must say something that I've spotted is that this group of what we think are the net leaders here, Benjamin, Elton, Tim, and Luke, they're only marginally catching up to Harry and the rest up front. So perhaps if Harry can really maybe push an extra 2 or 3 laps to make sure they can get onto the medians for the second stint, and that could be quite the sort of finishing tyre then, because these guys
Yeah.
have solid pace, but the hard tyres just don't seem to be giving the grip that the drivers want.
Yeah, Benjamin needs to get sorry, Benjamin needs to get a move on because 20.6 is the gap between himself and Harry last time round. The average pit stop loss here, 25 seconds. Add 5 seconds to Harry's time. We're looking at a 30-second loss. That's 10 seconds in the last 10 laps. We could have a fight on our hands as well. Got IGK Zach with a penalty as well. It's absolutely paramount for Benjamin and Eltink now, and Luke as well, you'd argue. They have to stay out of penalties. There's no two ways about it. They absolutely have to stay out of penalties. Harry is on no warnings whatsoever. Zach does have 1 penalty with 3 warnings. But in terms of the big hitters, Pulisic to Benjamin, 1 warning, no penalties. Eltink, 1 warning, no penalties. Tim, 3 warnings, no penalties. Luke, 1 warning, no penalties. So that's your short penalties update. As I think we should, you mentioned Harry's pace. I think we may start to see a little bit of a drop off soon as he starts to just sort of reach the cliff ever so slightly.
Yeah, I
Because
think
he's
sure
going to have to
Harry is
take these guys a
pushing.
few more laps.
Harry is pushing much harder now than he has at any point in the race because he's starting to really pull a gap to Zach. He knows that it's now or never as that is battling here. As that's Nick Pancras into the pit lane. To put on, I'm guessing, hard compound tyres. Yes, it is. These drivers pitting now are giving us a better idea of sort of what the others are going to go to. So if they're still going to hards at this stage, I'd imagine there might be another 2 or 3 laps before the medium drivers can do it.
I'm
Currently
surprised he
about
hasn't gone
13
onto the
laps left.
mediums there, because
Well,
I
there's
would
about
have thought they
13
could have gone.
laps. There's 13 laps left, and I think the mediums can do that. So I think Harry's going to maybe do one, or he's either pitting at the end of this lap or next lap, I think. Based
Yeah,
off of he's done
just
about 11 to 12 laps on these now, and about 13 laps left. Want to balance that out, won't you?
yeah. Obviously, you have lower fuel loads as well. Yellow
Fix.
flag in sector 1. That
Weird
will
and off
fix.
there.
Don't believe he's got any damage. He's just changed his front wing. Oh no, he hasn't. That was in the first stop. Apologies for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harry, as you said, pulling gap. 4.2 seconds is the gap now. Maybe because he's pushing, but it may be also because Zach's starting to run into a few troubles with his rear tyres. 63% he's running at the moment. Harry lagging about 5% behind that. That 5% could be quite crucial in terms of lap time because, as you mentioned earlier, Jackson, he's getting that gap up to that 5 seconds that he needs, that safety barrier of 5 seconds to IGK Zach. There's Nico's in the pits now, in that Alfa Romeo. So this is the first of that major front group we've seen battling
And it's medium
into
tyres.
the pits.
It is medium tyres there.
That's the right call, I think.
Yeah, 100%. As that is I think that's
Gill.
the Renault garage coming out there. As that is Gill into the pit lane. Our reigning champion is pitting from about, I think that was what, P10, and they now leave the garage there. Small Codemasters glitch. Love to see them. But yeah, Gill is going to come out here in P15. That is just that's not reigning champion position, is it? And could have asked to get Gill here. Not quite looking like they're close enough.
Will.
Not quite. No.
No.
I mean, Gill, of course, got fresh tyres now, but so does Nick Pancras in front. So it is going to be interesting to see how this race finishes. As
If you were switching onto VRL for the first time today, if someone told you Gill was you didn't know anything about his name, if this was your first experience in league racing, and someone turned to you and said Gill is the reigning champion of VRL, I think you'd be a little bit shocked. With all due respect to Gill, he's a great guy, he's such a fast racer, but he's still getting to grips with his new wheel, and this is certainly not the Gill we're so used to seeing.
Yeah, it is. It's strange to see Gill not having the best time. As Harry does come in now, does not speed crucially. Now, they haven't quite got the gap onto Zach, who stays out, so this is crucial here for Harry. I'm going
I do have to say,
I want to watch
Benjamin is in traffic. He's
Benjamin's
just behind Nick Mania.
Let's see. So I think they'll come out ahead, but by how much is Benjamin going to come out ahead by?
So Benjamin is going to make that move on Nick Mania. Easy move down the straight. Let's see if Kai is able to follow suit. It'll be late on the brakes. It is late on the brakes. It's late in the day from Kai Elting. He gets the job done into turn number 1. That could be a crucial move as this race plays out. Talking about crucial, here's Harry out behind Nico. So Nico's made that undercut work.
Amazingly there for Nico, as well as, of course, the 5-second time penalty for Harry, but still, that was fantastic job there. Zach now leads the race. Well, I'm surely Zach's going to pit at the end of this lap. That's like we can almost guarantee. And I'm going to throw this out there purely for the sake of it, not because I think it's going to happen. What if Zach kept these tyres on for, let's say, another 2 laps and went to the soft compound tyres? It would be an incredible feat to do that.
That's what I did yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It really
My
is.
tyres were in slightly better condition than Zach's. They did stop under the safety car. His pace is certainly deteriorating. A 30.5 last lap. Nolan Lambert behind him in the racing point, 4/10 a lap quicker. He was quicker than Velcom though, by about 2/10 of a second. Slower than Otmir, slower than Benjamin by about 4/10 of a second, and he does pit. Going on to lap 19 is the soft tyres.
It is soft tyres.
Soft tyres. He's got to be fair to him. You know, it's going to give him a big advantage. He has rolled the dice. You've got to buy a ticket to win the raffle.
Yeah, it's what I love to see, and this is why I love Lee Griffin so much. It's because a lot of the time you see drivers playing it safe, doing what they have to do, but occasionally you have 1 or 2 drivers. This guy, no, I'm not going to copy your strategy. I'm not just going to copy the other drivers. I'm going to try something different, and yeah, it may cost me in the short term, but I didn't have anything in the short term. But in the long term, this gives me just that chance just to go for that unusual strategy and just try and get that surprise result, which is what we love to see. Surprise results is, I mean, it's fair to say, unless you've got a favourite driver, surprise results is what makes motorsport what it is.
Of course, and looking at the top 2, I don't know if we're going to see these 2 try and take it to the end. Valken and Otmir.
That would be quite the feat if they can do that.
It would be incredible, but what have they got to lose? You know, if they pit now, they're out the points anyway.
Exactly. Like, look at the gap. Like, they've got a 10-second, they've got a 13-second gap to the back of the points. They would have to lose over a second a lap to drop out of the points at this rate. So, but if they pit, they'll drop right to the back of the pack. So they might as well roll the dice and try something different here.
Yeah, the Renault of Otmir running on 52% front and rear. Well, I assume Valken doing similar. We can't see his stats.
Well, they've been on these tyres since, well, let's say lap 5 because of course the safety car. So that's about 15 laps on these tyres to get up to 50%. With 9 laps left, it's going to be, I think it's possible, as that is Nick Mania into the pits, I believe. Yes.
Harry's going to make a move. He's right behind the Alfa Romeo.
Fast lap of the race.
As close to the wall as possible. Fast lap of the race from Harry. Harry's going to try it around the outside. The Williams driver, he's pushing for the win. He's got to get past Nico first. He has made that move. Is Nico going to be able to come back at him? He doesn't have much ERS to play with. I think he's just going to sit behind the Williams driver for the time being.
Yeah, Harry really swept that one around the outside, putting all the faith in his car to grip up there, and really shows the speed he has and the grip he has on those tyres. The fact that they could just put brakes so... I mean, they've got this... Not only that, because they're very similar tyres there. It shows the confidence Harry has at this stage of the race, and it gives us a clue of what's to come. If Harry can do that on a driver that's got 1 lap worse tyres than him, what can he do when he catches up the guys like Luke, who are on 8 lap worse, harder tyres than him? It's going to be fascinating.
Gill's got off.
Gill, I believe, I'm guessing there, he spun in the similar way to how Avest, and he's left. Gill,
called it a day.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame him though, really? Yeah, I mean, if a safety car comes, I know he's going to regret that, surely, but I think my guess there is what happened is he spun coming out of the S's, but instead of spinning off to the left like a lot of people, like Avesta did in qualifying, he's actually corrected it, overcorrected it, and spun it to the right-hand side of the track, and going straight on at the hairpin, which has given it the game thinking he's cutting it, giving it a 5-second time penalty.
Shame there for Gill. Another fastest lap of the race from Harry. He's really, really getting a move on. And crucially as well, now he has dispatched Nico. He's free to go and get Luke. But look who's just behind Nico. It's IGK Zach in the AlphaTauri prowling. He could be an outside shot for this race win. The
Very
penalty
much.
is going to impede him. Certainly the penalty is going to impede him. But
I think
he's
this
got
is-
the tyres.
Yeah, this is insane. Once Harry's caught up to Luke, he is then in the lead. The drivers who all race, we've said, are the lead group. You're Ben.
Harry's off! Harry's gone off!
Massive crash! Oh, Harry, no! The guy that we've just been praising all race long about how great he's been doing. He's binned it in the same way we've seen quite a few drivers now across F1 and F2 in VRL. He's just thrown it into the barriers and broken his wing very badly. And I must say, he's lucky to still be in the race with a hit that big. And, oh, that is thrown away what looks like a potential victory there for Harry. A driver that's driven so almost faultlessly apart from that speeding in the pit lane penalty. And even that he made up for with his class overtakes around some of his rivals. And he goes and does that, throwing it into the barriers. And, well, it's even if he didn't have the win today, I think he had a potential podium and 100% a lot of points he was going to get today.
Let's not forget,
in the
back to the
VRL
front,
championship
Otmir
is huge.
is making a move on Valken. This is for the net leader of the race. You've got to say at this point, these guys must be going to the end. So it's now the pressure's on Benjamin, Eltink, Tim, Luke, and the following pack to get past. Zach has got past Nico, so Zach is now the first driver going to have a go at the drivers on the old hard tyres. It's all changing up so much in the last couple of laps of this race.
I mean, it's what we should have expected something like this to happen. Let's be honest here. We should have expected something that crazy to happen there. As I believe Nick Manio's had some sort of issue there as well now. But it's going to be such a finish. I'm getting flashbacks to last season, the finale last season when we saw who was it that was on the fresher tyres trying to catch down one of the Haas cars. It's been that long.
It was it Plusenball?
I think it may well have been.
Yeah, it was. It certainly was. And just like this season, you know, in the finale last season, we had an AlphaTauri on fresh tyres chasing down cars and older tyres. Cut to the start of season 6, we got an AlphaTauri on fresh tyres chasing down tyres on older tyres on cars. So we could get an absolute grandstand finish here. And crucially, Ben is in the DRS range of Valken, I should say, with 6 lap pressure tyres. So here we go. This is going to be crucial on how Ben can get through this traffic. One mistake and he can drop off the podium.
I must say, my eyes are glued to the task system here, watching the tyre wear of Zach, because that is going to be a massive thing, along with the leaders. But Benjamin here, he's close. Can he do it though? The issue is because there's 2 cars out front who have got the DRS of each other here. It's going to make Benjamin's job just so much harder. But as I say that, when will he go for it? His first chance is going to be into the hairpin here if he wants to risk it. Will he throw it up the inside?
He's going to have a look.
He is. He's going for it. He sends it, and wow, he did that. He made that one look easy, getting the car so perfectly up the inside, getting it all done in the braking zone, and finished it off beautifully through the apex onto the power.
In the VRT sports team, as is Benjamin. Is he going to give a help to his team? I don't think he is. Elting breezes round the outside. That was so easy for Elting, as if he wasn't there.
It's showing that these hard tyres have got no grip left, but still, got the Renault driver out in the lead here, with Benjamin hunting them down. We've got a long way to go, and it's one of those races where we feel like we've got about 3 laps left, when in fact we have 6. But it's going to be hard here for Otmir to hold on.
It'd be crucial if Ben can get past Otmir now, and Elting stuck behind for another lap. That can be a crucial gap Ben could open up. Let's see if he's going to go for a move into turn number 1. He's closing. We saw him get aggressive. We saw Kai get aggressive earlier on in the race into turn number 1. He's going to stick behind for now and wait until the second DRS zone. Is he close enough?
I think that was smart. I think what they were doing there is, instead of going for the move into turn 1, where they would have put Otmir perhaps wide and given Kai the run up the hill, although still not going for the move. I think Benjamin's being very smart here. He's trying to go for the moves where he knows Kai won't be able to follow him through. So going for it into the hairpin could be a chance for him to do that. But he just doesn't look close enough, to be honest. He just does not look close enough. But yeah, Renault leading the way at the moment. A Renault on old hard tyres here, getting flashbacks to yesterday. Yeah, Otmey's going to try and hold on here, but can he? That is the question.
Ben's got to get past him.
Yeah, it's crucial now that they get past immediately. They cannot hold off any longer. As the Mercedes is all over the back of the Renault.
Otmey's really struggling with them tyres.
Yeah, it is. Oh, they're completely gone, really. And the fact that they're this bad with another 5 laps left, it's not looking good.
Worrying. Certainly worrying.
But
Is
look
Ben
at
going
this.
to look for moving?
All of this is going to allow Kai to get right on the back of them here. Lose the onboard of Kai here to get us the best view of these two up ahead.
Here we go then, Benjamin's already made a move. Here goes Kai though, what an exit from Kai. We could be 3 wide down the main straight.
And I think we are going to be, as Kai's going to try and go for the move on Benjamin as they head towards turn 1. He's going to go to the outside line into turn 1. And he's going to try and hold it. No, he can't. Benjamin breaks the later there. And this could give Kai the opportunity to get the run up the hill as they head towards turn 4. Off into the wall. That was Otmey having a massive crash. He's out the race. Safety car deployed. Safety car is deployed. IGK Zach is just loving life right about now. As, Otmey had a massive crash off there to the left of the track. And it looks like they've just lost it, perhaps, on the power.
Yeah,
and heavily into the barriers. I just saw it in the background.
Yeah, I saw that. Otmey just lost it. Otmey completely lost it.
That was a scary crash there, scary one. Yeah, Zach in P4 now, and any worries he had about tyres, his tyres are actually better condition than those of the harder tyre runners in front of him. I mean, we can't actually see Benjamin's. But they're all getting... Tim's getting up to nearly 60% here. Of course, he pitted a couple laps earlier. But it's... Zach, surely, is got to be the favourite for the win here.
He's still got that penalty, though. Let's not forget.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, that's very true.
Just to update you on penalties, I can see if you're asking in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bounce between absolutely everything. TAS, the race, the chat. 1 warning for Ben, 2 warnings for Elting, 3 warnings, 1 penalty for Tim. 4 warnings, 1 penalty for Zach. No warning, or 3 warnings for Luke, no penalties. 9 seconds of penalty for Nolan with 9 warnings. 2 warnings, no penalties for Nico. 9 seconds for Drakatos.
Into the pits.
5 warnings.
No, Tim does pit. Tim does pit.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think I do.
There's not enough time. There's not enough time.
Well,
he's going to drop behind Valken. Or is he? No, he should be. If there's still a delta, he should be ahead of Valken.
Look,
if he's ahead of Valken,
people behind are pitting. Everyone behind him are pitting.
I still don't know. I still don't know, if I'm honest.
I mean, he's only lost 4 positions, so I can see one aspect. Yeah,
I'm hearing from Ben's brother that Tim's tyres were in puncture zone, so he had to pit.
Well, that does make sense. They were getting very high. They were, I think, last time I checked, around 60%. So I think Tim has made. I like Tim's decision. I don't think it necessarily will be the correct one, but I like it. Anyway, like the same. I like Zach's decision.
He's going to be so quick at the last couple of stages, though. He's going to be so quick in the last. I assume the safety car will be in this lap or next lap.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a race yesterday, not after Vera F2, where we had a last-minute safety car with a 2-lap shootout to finish it, and the drivers on the softer tyres had so much more grip. But they were actually the drivers that got caught out in incidents because they had so much more grip. They were just getting stuck by other cars, because they had almost sort of they would get a better exit in the car in front, but they'd get too good an exit without having them back out, and that's when the crashes happen. And Zach, I think, is in a great position here, but Tim, on the other hand, I think
important though for Zach. His tyre wear is really high. He's running what, 47 on the front, 56 on the rear, so. He's got maybe a lap of proper pace before them tyres drop off, so I take it back what I'm saying. Tim could be, I think certainly he's got a chance of getting back up into 3rd, maybe even more, because I don't think Zach's got the tyres left to have a run at the top 2 in the last 2 laps. I really don't.
Yeah, it's just been insane. It is. Oh, it's been absolute insanity, and we're gonna have a 2-lap shootout, which is. I'm lost for words. This is quite literally, basically a repeat of a league I watched yesterday. Actually, racing yesterday, and that had such an insane finish. So if this can have a finish anything like that, it would be absolutely unbelievable. But Tim, I'm not sure if he's quite going to be able to do it. Because I think he's definitely going to have the pace to do it, but with that 3-second time penalty hanging over him as well, I think...
Yeah, without the penalty, and maybe one more, if the safety car was in the last lap, I think he might have had a run at it, but 2 laps just seems a little bit too much to ask.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just a request for you to put on the tyres on the stream, Jackson.
I shall do. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Now that I have TAS, I'm looking at wrong thing there. I have TAS. You get used to looking at that rather than there you go.
So this is going to absolutely blow up in all of our faces in the last 2 laps. I do hope all 37 of you on the stream, you've all come at the right time, because this is going to absolutely go off, I think is the only word. Benjamin scoring for his 2nd win in VRL, I believe. I have checked that with my intuition. But here we go.
It is going to be one hell of a finish we have here. If you don't mind, I'll call this restart because your mic's had a few issues. Nothing major. It's like it's came at the important times. For the most part, it's been okay. It's just now and again it like cuts out and misses a word or two. Just every about 10 minutes. But you'll be all right. But here, Benjamin.
Disconnect again.
Yeah, Benjamin is backing up the pack.
Temperature. Temperature is the thing the hard tyre runners are going to struggle for. That's what I will say.
100%. Could Luke be an outside shot here of Kai and Benjamin Clyde? Who knows? As they round the final corner. Let's watch the throttle there from Benjamin. And he goes! We are back underway for a 2-lap shootout. In VRL F1 Season 6, round 1 of the season, it's a 2-lap shootout for the race win. Benjamin is going to try and get the restart that he needs. But behind, Zach gets a great exit there on Kai. And he's not going to be able to quite make the move, but Kai goes up the inside of Benjamin. Will there be contact? Looks like perhaps a bit of rubbing there. Can Kai get the run as they come up the hill? Behind the 2 AlphaTauris are battling away. But Kai is all over the back of Benjamin. Will he go for the overtake? Staying behind for now, biding his time, using all the grip he has left in those tyres. Zach right behind them now. Can't Zach use the grip he has? He should have a huge advantage here, but are his tyres just too worn? It looks like that could be the way. Tim is already up, and he's battling there for P4. Can he go for the switchback here? Yes, he's going to go for a great switchback here. And try and get past. He's up into P4 already. Tim, this has been an outstanding restart here, as we're barely halfway through the lap. And Tim is already up 3 positions, as there's a crash further behind through the hairpin. It looks like that was Nico that looks like he's gone around.
Nico and Nick Mania maybe. Oh, that's Avesta's off.
And Avesta, how have they binned it there? That is a strange place to get into the barriers.
There was contact. There certainly was contact. There won't be a safety car because we've only got a couple of laps to go. Tim, right on the back of Zach, who's struggling with his tyres. Zach's gone wide. Tim's gone back up the inside. Tim's into 3rd.
As Nolan Lambert has retired from this race as well, as a spin up the hill for them. But Tim here is becoming... What? Can he get the 3-second gap? It's going to be down to that, because I think he's going to get these two. But Kai versus Benjamin versus Tim. This battle is going to go down to the wire here, ladies and gentlemen. As they head down the main straight. As they start the final lap of the race, Tim is going to go wildly to the inside there.
Goes Tim!
Of Kai. Kai able to hold around the outside though. Kai doing an outstanding job on very old tyres there. Can Tim get the run as they come back up the hill? In the slipstream, he's going to have to absolutely send it here, but he's not quite close enough. Benjamin's going to hold on for now. Can he hold on to the race win here, or is Tim going to have too much grip as they head down into the S's? What, as Kai struggling, Tim's going to go to the left. Tim is going to go around the outside here of Kai, and he's going to make it stick. Tim is up into 2nd position here, only 1 car in front of him. Wow, can Tim get ahead now? Can he get Benjamin? It's going to be harder. It's going to be near impossible. He's going to have to take contact here for Tim to get up into the winning positions here. But it's getting insanely close. And Tim is doing everything he can here, no matter what happens, even with that penalty. His drive has been absolutely outstanding.
Let's see if Tim can pull that 3-second gap to Luke, because that's where the podium fight is going to be. It looks like Benjamin is going to come home for his 2nd win in VRL. Oh, Ben's got a puncture.
Oh, really?
According to his brother, he does. It's alright though, he's going to come through the final corner. It's a Mercedes 1-2 on track. Ben wins for the second time in VRL. He opens Season 6 in the best way possible. Mercedes get 2 cars on the podium after an incredible restart from Tim Wenting, who came from all the way from 9th on the grid up into 3rd. Kai Elting steps in as a reserve, steps up to the podium. What a race, Jackson! What a race! Benjamin wins. Tim 3rd. Kyle Tink 2nd. Wow.
Yeah, that one word that sums up that race. Wow. It's massive congratulations there to Benjamin with what was just an insane finish there, and to hold on dead tyres to do that is just outstanding. And Tim, to even with that penalty, to get all the way up there into the podium positions with a 3-second time penalty, restarted P7, and that's a safety car restart there. To be able to pull that much of a gap was just on another level there from Tim to do that. And we said in qualifying, and we said early stages of the race, which team is going to come out on top today, which team is going to say, we want to be the ones fighting for the team championship. We said, Gil, surely the favourite, P14, he's a lap down. Whereas Benjamin gets the win, Mercedes with a 1-3 finish. Mercedes have just done what is an outstanding finish there, and well, I have no doubts that VRL Season 6 is going to be one that we remember for a long time, because
I think that is certainly one of the most action-packed, most incredible races. Here's the provisional top 10. Wow, Mercedes back on top for the first time since, God, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil Smith in Abu Dhabi Season 4. But, yeah, action-packed. What a race. Some unlikely contenders. Harry, to be fair to Harry, he pulled it back to 5th position with the fastest lap as well at the end.
Yeah. Well, that is just insane. I've only just realised that Harry P5 after what looked like. I mean, I think it's Harry's got P5 there, but I don't know if you agree with me here. But I think if he hadn't had that spin, Harry would have won that race. But he
definitely
he threw it
potential.
away. He threw it away, and he just. That's the thing that drivers like Benjamin and Kai just didn't do, despite their tyres, well, barely being tyres when it came to the end of that race. They managed to hold on to their cars and maybe going wide here or there, but at the end of the day, they did an outstanding job, and that is a driving level that it's a level that you don't see in many people, and they really did nail it today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We're gonna have the 5 drivers or the 3 drivers I should say, invited to the party.
Have you done that, or shall I?
I'm inviting them now.
Thank you. Well, whilst we wait for them to join, I think that was just from all the drivers. We saw some crashes, of course, and we never want to see that. But we saw such great driving in some of the drivers today, that we have to say congratulations to everyone that finished that race, because no matter what, they had outstanding results, which is just a fantastic job for them.
I know.
As the drivers make it to the party.
Yes. Put the voice share, everyone.
Welcome, drivers. Before we go anywhere, I just want to remind you all, please make sure you're sharing your audio.
Yeah, I am doing that now. Oh, what the fuck? Audio share. Alright, it's on.
Ben, we'll come to you first.
Yes.
If we may.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Your
you.
second win in VRL. I have to say congratulations. You got pole quite convincingly, it seemed, by over a tenth, and never really looked back.
Yes, I didn't really do a good lap on Paul, but it was good enough. And in the race, it was just a good combination of work with me and Kai and Tim and Luke. We're all working together very well. And that's my second win. Really happy.
Of course, and starting off the season as you mean to go on, we heard you say that you were looking to mount a championship challenge. Certainly started well, hasn't it, Benjamin? Do you think you can keep this up against the pack? We do expect Gil to be quicker than he was today as he adjusts to his new wheel. And, you know, Harry was also very quick on the alternate strategy. First question, do you expect to keep this type of performance up? And second question, were you concerned about drivers like Harry, maybe IGK Zach as well, on the alternate strategy throughout that race?
We were afraid, but when Harry pitted lap 2, I think, he already got a 5-second penalty, so if he didn't get that one, I think he would have fought with us, but we all had DRS as well, so it would have been difficult for him to pass us, but it would have been a fight.
He also made that mistake and went off, which I'm not sure if you saw at turn 6.
I heard it. About Giel, he'll probably get used to his wheel, and then I'm expecting him to expecting a title fight with him and Tim and Luke. And some others.
So what I can say is take the points whilst you can, because Gil's certainly prowling. But thank you very much, Benjamin. Congratulations on your second win in VRL history. A dominant drive from yourself. Moving on to Kai. No,
No, I'm second place.
Tim.
Yeah,
Tim,
I had a double warning in the corner. So.
Oh, so you think it will be?
Yeah.
You think the penalty will be removed?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go off the provisional race results anyway. So Kai, we are gonna come to you first. Right now, second position, stepping in as a reserve, outperforming your teammate. You must be quite happy with today.
Yeah, it's not going too bad. I had a disconnecting quali, so I only had one run, and I'm really pleased with the lap. So, yeah, the race was pretty boring. I just stayed behind Benjamin. We talk to each other, we don't overtake each other. So yeah, I'm happy overall.
Oh, okay, so we didn't know that, but I'm quite glad we didn't know that, because that would have made it a little bit less entertaining for us, but you certainly kept Benjamin on edge, and a battle with Tim, and a relatively quiet race in terms of overtaking from you, but nevertheless you've done a good job, and can we expect to see you back in that World in the future?
Maybe. I don't know, I have a little spare time on Sunday, so maybe some races, but I don't think I can compete as a main driver.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations to yourself again. So coming to the current third place driver, I will have to specify, maybe come second place. Tim, massive congratulations, first of all, on third, on second, whatever it may be, should you get that penalty removed. How do you feel? Coming from 9th, qualifying wasn't great, you obviously gave Ben the slipstream half second off your teammate in qualifying, but you really made up for it in the race.
Yeah, I promised Andrea to, so I did. Yeah, race was pretty decent. Hard stint wasn't too good. I just could have gone a bit quicker maybe. But yeah, the second safety car, my tires were like done. Like if I wouldn't have pitted, I would have had a puncture. So I just had to, and it was probably the best decision I could make because the grip was insane.
Yeah, just talk us through that safety car restart, because you seemed to be in 7th one moment, and then we checked you again, and you're all the way up in 2nd, so... what was that like?
I think to Nico and Marcus, if he was ahead of me, I'm not sure. Like the two people, I think it was Nolan and Nico, they got a really bad restart, and I was alongside them right before the line. So, I made the move on... who was it? Nico first, and 2 corners after I overtook Nolan, and after that it was just getting past Luke on the exit already, and Zach, what happened to him? Pretty sure I overtook him in the the 1 to last corner, and after that it was just a pure grip.
Well, I have to say congratulations. Potentially, both Mercedes on the podium. Certainly, I do know you're going to make a serious inquiry about that penalty. Do stay tuned into VRL's Instagram account for all the penalty releases. But thank you very much, drivers, and congratulations today. You've all done an incredible job, and what a start to season 6, Jackson.
Well, yeah, that is one of the most entertaining races I've ever seen, which is becoming a bit of a theme now when commentating on VRL. But it was just so many different strategies, so many different drivers in the fight at so many different times in that race. It's great to see a finish that really lived up to what we were hoping for. And at the end of the day, the best drivers came out in the top positions. And congratulations to all of you, because you just drove phenomenally today.
Thank you very much.
No other way to it. I mean, I said in qualifying that we'd see some strategy differentiation, but I wasn't quite expecting that much difference between all the drivers. There was about 6 or 7 different strategies going on throughout that race, but carnage left, right, and centre. Great fun to do it, and I now am extremely looking forward to next race. So, Jackson, finally, thank you very much for joining us, for streaming, for coming along for the ride.
Thank you for letting me. It's great fun anytime commentating VRL. Yeah, it's always good fun. And hopefully the future races are just as entertaining as this one.
We'll have to see. Make sure you tune in next time. Follow us on all our social media accounts, VRL PS4 on Twitter, Vision Racing League on Instagram. And if you want to sign up, join our Discord through the link in our Instagram bio. If not, we'll see you this time next week for round 2 of VRL Season 6 when VRL continues. Thank you very much. I've been Alex Bomberg. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.